to One Man's Opinion. In the last episode, I said the next review is going to be the revival of Parade on Broadway. Well, alas, the night before I was supposed to go, I came down with a stomach bug, and I didn't get over it until 2 days later. So my seeing Parade has been rescheduled for early April. So instead of Parade, I'm reviewing Seven Angels Theater's production of Jacques Lamarre's Secondo, based on the stories of Giulia Melucci, and directed by Michael Schiralli, running through April 2nd at Seven Angels Theater at One Plank Road in Waterbury, Connecticut. Now, before I go any further, in case you're one of those people who don't listen to my outros, I wanted to give everyone a heads up that I now have a Patreon page, and if you want to support my channel so I can afford to continue reviewing shows, and you want to see some additional content, come and visit my page. I'll have a link in the description. And if you heard my review of Secondo at TheaterWorks Hartford, which ran in August last year, you'll hear some similar things. Still, there's enough differences to talk about here, meriting giving Seven Angels their own review. For those who didn't listen to Season 2, Episode 9, Secondo is the sequel to Lamarre and Melucci's I Loved, I Lost, I Made Spaghetti. You don't need to know what happened in the first piece to follow Secondo, as Giulia, who is here played by Maria Baratta, ends up explaining what happens to a degree in I Loved, I Lost, I Made Spaghetti. Baratta played the role of Giulia at Seven Angels in 2015 in I Loved, I Lost, I Made Spaghetti. Basically, what you need to know at this point is that it's over 10 years since the events of I Loved, I Lost, I Made Spaghetti, and Giulia is married and is preparing a 10th anniversary dinner for her husband Gavin, who is returning from a junket at the Cannes Film Festival. The first act has Giulia speaking to the audience, telling us her story of how she and Gavin met, fell in love, and got married, and how the marriage has had its problems of late. The entire time, she is trying to make the pasta course for her anniversary dinner, making uovo raviolo, ravioli filled with egg and ricotta. Difficulties arise as she is incessantly interrupted by messages and phone calls from her friend Jen, her mom, Gavin, and Mitch. Mitch is an ex of hers who she has started spending time with while Gavin has been away for the past couple weeks. Though she hasn't committed adultery yet with Mitch, there has definitely been an emotional affair with him, and with problems having risen in her marriage, she has been weighing her options. After a supernatural reminder of what her current marital status is, we segue into the second act, where she tells us her story of her and Mitch, while attempting to make dessert for dinner, zuppa anglaise, or English soup, which isn't a soup at all, but a layered custard and sponge cake dish, kind of like a trifle. As we get closer to Gavin's return home, Giulia begins to panic more as we anxiously await for her to determine what to do with the two men in her life. I'm willing to admit that this could be due to me having seen Secondo twice now, that I didn't find this production as funny as the TheaterWorks production. I feel that Antoinette Lavecchia's performance captured more of Lamarre's comic writing. Here, though, I think Baratta captured the emotionally dramatic themes better. When she reaches her emotional climax in Act 2, it felt like she was completely breaking down from her anxiety, and I like that she was willing to take the drama to its furthest point without making it feel out of place. Though I do like Emily Nichols' set design, I feel she is slightly handicapped here as Giulia is cooking the entire course of the play, and the way the Seven Angels stage is designed, the audience sits below the stage looking up, which makes it very difficult to watch her prepare the ravioli from scratch, make it, and present it. I almost want an overhead camera with screens on either side of the stage showing her progress like some kind of cooking show, because this is a fully functional kitchen that has been built on set with a stove, refrigerator, and sink all working. One element of the design I particularly liked was the exterior lighting designed by Nathan Avakian. There's a kitchen window with a view of the Brooklyn Bridge, which is a view that probably doesn't exist, but I'll roll with it. Over the course of the play, the lighting outside fades from late afternoon to dusk to evening as Giulia speaks with us. It's nicely done to express the passage of time. There were some odd increases and decreases in the interior lighting that didn't exactly work for me, but the window lighting was spot on. The sound design by Shea Lopez was a little messy. That could be in part due to how the cues were handled the night I was in attendance. Giulia's audio was a little wonky early in the first act, where about 10 minutes in, her audio suddenly kicked louder on the sound system, which wasn't even necessary. Whatever audio was going on beforehand sounded way more natural, and it should have just been left that way. Then there were some of the Alexa cues, which also had leveling issues coming in and out. loud and soft in rather distracting ways. I interpreted that the cues were done in a way so as not to overwhelm Baratta's dialogue, but I think one set level would have been sufficient. I'd say that this production is close to on par with TheatreWorks Hartford's production, which translates that it is an enjoyable show with plenty of heart. I think Baratta's performance was better, at least regarding capturing Julia's character depth, though sacrificing some of the humor along the way, and though there are some design flaws, there are some exceptional elements as well. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Secondo, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. As noted earlier, you can support my channel by joining my Patreon page. A link will be in the description. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be the new Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, Bad Cinderella, now running on Broadway. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.